Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, everyone. Live from Silicon Valley, California. This is Bhakti Community. My name is JM, and I welcome you all to a program today, Bhakti On, where we'll discuss finding home in human connection. With our speaker tonight, Shivas Pandit. He has spent over 3 decades in exploring the wisdom of Bhakti Yoga and has been sharing it with seekers around the world. He will walk us through how friendship and love aren't luxuries, they are the soil our souls grow in. So please join me in welcoming Shivas Pandit tonight. Glad to have you back, Shivas.
Jen, thank you so much for having me again. It's my distinct pleasure and honor to be amongst all of you this evening. I welcome Dennis, Vicky, Bhakti Rasa, Chao, Sakala Subhag, and Shama Sundari. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak on this rather important subject that you raised today. It's really a profound and a relevant subject for our times. But before we start, as usual, I'll offer my prayers and then we can get started. But before I offer my prayers, I welcome Melissa, I welcome Kurt. Thank you all for joining.
How's it going?
Hello.
Hi. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shriyatapadakamalaṁ Shri Gurun Vaishnavaṁscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. Hi, Adinath, Lisa, Maxine, Yasmin, thank you all for joining and welcome this evening. So today's talk is rather interesting because we are talking of love without filters and followers. And I think a more thought-provoking question would be, why is there such a rise in social media? It's actually, just to say is that there is a rise of social media is an understatement. It doesn't matter which platform, because there are many platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Help me out here. WhatsApp, of course, it's not a platform, it's just a communication tool. But why is there such an increase in the social media, to the extent now social media companies Our Facebook doesn't have any product. If you just think about it, Meta or Facebook, it doesn't offer you any product, any software, because you are the product for the Facebook. Really, they get to know you, your friends, your interests, your everything. So you are a product for them, and they need to make use of you as a product to have a marketplace, to have an advertising, to have so on and so forth. And same is the case with Instagram. The younger teenagers often go for Instagram, or I don't know what all do you have there, Snapchat perhaps. But what is the need to communicate, to connect? And oftentimes the answer is not difficult. You need to find like-minded people across the globe, which brings up the whole other question that economic prosperity has been at an unprecedented levels compared to last 100 years, correct? Agreed? I mean, you get a lot more things these days. And in one sense, these things are supposed to keep us happy, but yet there is a yearning, there is a deep inner need to connect and to be with others. Fair enough. And so I would just take a couple of minutes, just type in like, why would you want to connect with others on any social media platform, or a reason to connect. I mean, some people are like off the grid kind of people who don't want to deal with people, but by and large, we like to connect. So if you can just get the comments flowing in on why you want to connect, please. Just seeing if there are any comments.
Vicky says to learn more.
To learn more. That's a good point. That's indeed a good point. To learn more. What else?
Denise says a dopamine hit to make you feel good.
That is true. That is true. There's a universal need for seeking appreciation, and more often than not, my things won't appreciate me. It's hard. We are getting into a territory where there is appreciation. Artificial intelligence can give you artificial appreciation, but that's a whole other thing that we'll discuss probably this time. Anything else?
Yasmin says find your mate, and a laughter sign.
Find your mate. That's a lofty goal, and well, it's been done, so it's not like you're breaking new territory here, Yasmin. So people do go online to find mates.
Sakala Subhaga says to find like-minded friends to share interest.
There we go. Like-minded friends. And the word like-minded is coming up. It's really nice to kind of see that word popping up. Anything else?
Lisa says don't access much. If I do, I like to watch the funny reels.
So mainly you go there for entertainment.
Yeah. Vicky says for convenience given distance.
Yeah.
And then it says an addiction.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. I mean, I wanted to do something, and then I get to write a serious email complaining about the pothole or the traffic light not working next to my house to my councilman. And 3 hours later on Facebook, I realized, oh my God, I forgot why I came on to my laptop. More?
And Yasmin says to practice anonymity, people can come in without putting their info, etc.
Yeah, well, that's something, it has a positive point, anonymity, and also a safe distance, especially for single people. You know, you don't need to meet a whole lot of strangers without putting yourself, in a physical proximity. That's a good point, correct. I agree.
Melissa says, I think it's more detrimental than of value, but some things are fun to look at it. I think the most haunted moments don't need to be broadcasted.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Then he adds to share a sorrow such as death or loss.
That's pretty powerful. Yep.
Those so far.
Excellent. So there is an overarching need for us to connect. Now, the bigger question comes is that Krishna says in the Gita, we are a complex package. We are not just a package that is just made of matter. Oftentimes it is told that we are made of matter and the whole being is just made of matter, and from dust we are born and into dust we go, and so on and so forth. But here is the thing though. Krishna says in the Gita that we have the physical body that has certain needs. For example, you need to wear clothes to protect the body from cold or heat or whatever be it. Then, but beyond that is the mind that is actively feeling, thinking, wanting, having opinions, and so on and so forth. And beyond the mind is the intelligence that that is curious, as somebody mentioned here, to learn more. The curiosity is there to know more about the world. And but beyond that is the soul. The soul actually is beyond the matter. And if you can layer these particular things, so we have the physical needs, we have the emotional needs, the intellectual needs, but beyond that is the spiritual needs. Now, the desire to connect comes from the fact that matter in of itself cannot give me happiness. It is inherent. Because I am a spiritual being, connecting with matter, while gives some conveniences, but it cannot give me ultimate happiness. And I'll give a simple example. And Weiss uses this in his classes, that don't love your car. It is not going to love you back. Because car is made of like solid matter that is incapable of feelings. And we will come to the AI part of it a little later. But the idea is, because I am confined in matter and I'm beyond matter, I need similar connection with like-minded people or like-minded souls that are also having spiritual connection. And because in the modern world, the technological revolution, the industrial revolution, the families becoming more and more nuclear, and even the nuclear families getting more and more individualized, there is a disconcerting sense of loneliness and disconnection. And you can see uh, how you need some connection that is spiritual, not just material. I'll give an example. And then, therefore, people actually adopt pets. Because one of the things people adopt pets is to drive away that loneliness, that connection, that some animal that is capable of expressing feelings and love can help me love that. And I'll give a simple example. Actually, it's a nice example. My daughter was maybe 4 or 5 years old. I don't remember the exact time. And at that time, she really wanted a pet. And we were very cautious and wary of the fact that you can get a pet home, but you will end up taking care of it, though your child endlessly promises to take care of it. And we realized that the burden will be ours. So I didn't want to break her heart. At the same time, I said, look, I thought I was very clever. So I said, I'll get a robotic dog. Yeah, it just mimics you. It just runs towards you. It just, you know, listens to your commands. If you say sit, it'll say sit. It'll do whatever you need to do. And I thought I was a really clever person, because my daughter, what does she know better? And she's 4 or 5. And then I went ahead and I got the dog. And she was excited, really excited for all of 2 days. Then the dog's ears actually got separated from the body, and the dog perpetually stay in the stuffed toy boxes, never to be touched for the whole life. And then I realized that the point was that even though my child is a small child, she craves for spiritual connection, or a body that has spirit soul behind it. And it's so inherent, even a child can understand that I'm not this, lump matter to deal with another lump of matter. I am far more spiritual than that. So that yearning to be connected on a spiritual plane is very natural, and therefore we gravitate towards friendship and love. It never gets old, even in a in a much more advanced technological society. How much ever the world says you don't need to be yourself sufficient, there is a deep craving, because spiritually we want to connect with another spirit souls. So far so good. Questions, comments, concerns? So one of the things what happens is the content that we see on the screen. For example, you see a lot of videos of Instagram and other places where some of the wonderful people mentioned about just going through the reels and catching some funny stuff and so on and so forth. And at one time, what happens is that because I am not matter, the videos I see are material, because the videos in of itself, they don't have life. Yes or yes? I mean, you go watch a movie, and you are watching this movie, and you really hate a person that is very villainous and evil in nature. You just can't go and punch the screen when that person appears on the screen to you. Did anybody try that? Please don't try it at home. You'll break your TV. And there are reels on that front. The point is, what you see in the videos, what you see in the on the screen is material, is matter. So it can touch my eyes, it can stir some feelings within my mind, but I cannot grasp it, I cannot feel it, I cannot touch it. Um, how many of you have seen a beautiful, delicious, item being cooked on YouTube? I don't think none of us are going to take out our tongue and lick the screen, do we? It's gross, but I'm making a point. Just to see that we are what you see on the screen is material, and what you see, what you are is spiritual. So when it touches you, it can only touch your mind, and because the mind can go up and down, there is a sense of disappointment after that. You either are disappointed, I wasted time. You're disappointed that maybe others are better. Maybe you're disappointed the fact that I haven't done anything myself good. So far so good. Does it echo that you can excessively go on the screen, but then it's a sort of letdown. It's a sort of, because I am a spirit soul and I'm trying to ingress or digest material things, and which can touch my mind but not my soul. And therefore, there is a feeling of letdown. There is a feeling of it's not enough. Maybe I'm not satiated because it didn't touch my soul. And the problem is, all these things, you can endlessly play a video, you can endlessly hear something, but then it's not going to respond back. There is no connection, there is no emotion. So far, so good. Any points, anything that you want to add, anything that you feel you agree with me or disagree with me? If you're so angry, then this is the time to go physical and hurl something at me. But I'm sorry, just make sure that you have insurance coverage for your device, and or you wanted a new device anyway, you wanted to destroy this. Anything?
Gilbert said banana nut bread. And Lisa says, what you stated earlier reminded me that infants don't thrive with touch communication.
Sorry, I'll just key line 5.
Without touch, yeah, I was confused too. Infants don't thrive without touch and communication.
That's such a beautiful point. Yeah, yeah. There is a serious emotional withdrawal and just not a healthy growth when there is no touch. That's such a beautiful point. And there have been scientific studies shown that, you know, a very platonic hug can actually help a person's relieve a person. It causes so much of yeah. And then, but the thing is, in a world where we are hurling towards technology, it is still material. It is still matter. No matter how much a robot can be designed, maybe tomorrow the way things are working in the world, let me paint a dystopian future, and then the idea would be that nobody will buy cars because cars will be like driverless cars. It'll be much cheaper to maintain or have an account and call the car to your home and drop you off somewhere instead of you maintaining a car. And the situation will say, instead of big purchase buying a car, let's buy a domestic help robot who's like does everything for you. You know, I don't know cooking, but maybe there'll be upgrades in the software and upgrades with the robots. Basically, you can clean and so on and so forth. Living in a house where you have a person who's exactly like human but with no soul, you as a spiritual being might not be so much taking a liking to that. In fact, there could be a sense of yeah. One of the things it always thinks about me is that when we have now more and more cars are coming with self-driving, which means that I punch in the address and it'll take me to that. But you always wonder in the back of the mind, can it handle everything? Can it kind of take care of everything? So the more and more advancement actually is causing a spiritual isolation, and that is a problem with modern technology, modern world, and with no in-person communication. And there is a reason why people are going back to office. I mean, we are going back to office, and people are trying to be connected and so on and so forth. Because we are deeply spiritual, we beings are spiritual, and we want to connect with spirit, even though it might be covered in matter. Correct? I mean, like my child who discarded the dog, she looked at the robotic dog and she was like, she at that time she was 4. She thought that the dog will be exactly like the regular dog, but she perceived in 2 days, this is not for me. In the same way, we feel as spiritual beings, we want to feel that connection. And without that, no matter how much of technology, how much of things that artificially can try to fill through material means, it's not enough. So far, so good. Yeah. Right. So this is where the question then comes is, why am I lonely? And why do I feel the loneliness? When we actually take to path of yoga, then we slowly start discovering that the loneliness is from my own perception of seeing this world as I am the center and I am the, I'm the enjoyer of this world, and I kind of control a little bit to an extent of this world. And when we see that the world is not going according to our plan, situation is not according to our plan, or life is not according to our plan, then we get disgusted and disturbed. And we can see then the question is like, no, who is this person behind that is actually causing this whole world to change? Then we learn from Gita that there is a higher being or a higher power that creates this world and that maintains this world. And then we are a part of it. We are small players, like in a huge drama. Because if you see this world, for example, now we have fall, tomorrow we'll have winter, and then summer. The seasons are perfectly going, the planets are perfectly aligned. Everything is going according to a plan, which means there is a planner. And the connection with the world is, or the people of this world and friendships is great, it's helpful. But having that connection with Krishna or God, that brings the highest form of happiness, because that connection is what we are seeking birth after birth. We are seeking that kind of pleasure that comes from that connection with a higher source. And that then things will fall into place. Then we'll realize that, I'm just a part of a higher power. I'm just acting according to a higher direction or a nature, higher nature. I'm just part of it. And with that knowledge, and I'll never perish. That's the whole thing. Spiritually, I'll never perish, but materially, things will change. Having this fundamental foundation actually is really helpful. And we seek the right association, we seek the right connections in that context. Fair enough? I'll give a simple example and I'll take some questions and reflections. If you have a person who wants to win Olympic gold medal, that person is going to seek the right kind of people or the support group to help. Yes or yes? They want to reach out to the right people who are equally, similarly minded like them. They would like to go to facilities that can help thrive, build up their potential. They will go to the websites that help them improve the performance, motivation, so on and so forth. So they connect, and then they would probably be taking a diet that would be suitable for their goal. Probably they would be working really hard, practicing 5, 6, 7 hours a day. So you can see just winning an Olympic gold medal involves a lot of self-discipline and sacrifice. And the reward is the smile when you win and the fame and so on and so forth. In the same vein, in the process of Bhakti Yoga, we are also trying to connect to Krishna because he is our gold medal. He's our Olympic gold medal. With that, I'll just stop for some time, take some reflections. And before that, I welcome Chitra, I welcome Wanfan, Chao. Thank you so much for joining this evening.
Please feel free to unmute and share your thoughts, reflections, questions, or type in the chat box. Fla is also back. Welcome back, Fla. Glad to have you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you. I was a bit late, but I'm here.
It's fine. But I'm so glad we are so glad you are here, Fla. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Right.
Any other thoughts, questions? Go ahead, Vicky.
Thank you. The way that you described how we can't touch what we see on social media, even though we're so affected by it, that analogy really helped me. And I was just wondering, why am I so affected by it, even though I'm not really touching the material illusion because I'm inherently spiritual. And I was thinking it's because of my mind's investment that the mind has this attachment and desire and keeps going back to it. And on a Bhakti Circle session, once we were discussing the difference between human and animal consciousness. And that animal consciousness revolves around eating, sleeping, mating, defending, the basics. And Achyuta, who sometimes joins this program too, made the point that our technological advancements are just so much more advanced forms of eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, because the consciousness hasn't transformed just by a mere demonstration of more advanced intelligence. And I have a question, but it will come back to me. Thank you.
I can give a 30 seconds, Vicky, if you want to, or you can just raise the hand whenever it comes back to you. All right, sounds like a plan.
Thanks, Vicky. Anyone else?
I'll chime in.
Yeah.
My parents were professional athletes, And my brother also, he was involved with hockey at a very high level. And my father, well, they should have been in the Guinness Book of World Records for some of the things they did. That's my father won U.S. men's gold and silver in a sport called curling. And I can remember as a child growing up at the kitchen table, and we would eat, sleep, and drink curling, the sport, because they could tell every detail and discuss every detail of every game. And so, yeah, it is really true what he said. And it's really interesting because as I look back on life, it was all about the professional sport.
Mm.
And our whole household, every single thing in it was from them winning games. Like we probably wouldn't be such a wealthy family, but my parents had won so many trophies and gifts from their sports. But anyway, it was really like exactly how you say. Yeah.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Yes, Vicky, please.
I just remembered the question. So on the first point of even though we're not really interacting with matter, but it's still very consuming, um, instead of going the route of artificial renunciation that I'll delete all my social media, which never works permanently, how can we use something that's so consuming in service and avoid being uh, so weighed down by it?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Thank you for asking because that was the second part of what our discussion this evening was. Because after making or painting a picture that the social media is rather detrimental and quite debilitating mentally, so to speak, because we see that there have been numerous studies on how this has taken a toll on the mental health, especially of the teenagers who are on this. People might call us Luddites that just throw away all the technology and roll into the cave. And you were still, hi Alicia, thank you for joining, Hayden, Lalitangi. But this is the worst part though. More than that, they might accuse of, okay, they may accuse of saying that you guys are moving towards Luddites, which is still okay. For those who are unfamiliar, Luddites are those who just refuse or reject or just are against any sort of technology. More than telling us we are Luddites, they can actually criticize us for being hypocrites because guys, if you are against social media, why are you guys using the Zoom? You should call all of us in person at some place and speak this, correct? I mean, am I making sense here? Yeah. And so the thing is, matter as much as spirit belongs to a higher power. So for example, let me give a simple example. Is knife good or bad?
It has duality. You need a knife to cut the vegetables, but a knife can be used for evil or good.
Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, it's both good and bad. And the problem is, while the forces of technological changes are so overwhelming that they are even those who have been in the software field for decades. I have been in this field for decades, and I can see how overwhelmingly fast and just mentally debilitating it is to keep up with the pace of the technology. And you wish that, stop, enough of technological advancement, let me be comfortable with what I have learned so far, and not get overwhelmed. I realize that it's beyond my control. I just can't do anything about it. So we can wish the technology stop and the whole world regress back a little. Probably you guys are going too fast. Maybe you should roll back, these things a little bit. But no, we don't have that option, so we can't control that. We just cannot, at this point of time, just refuse any and all technology, can we? Just think about, I would say, just keep one day, just keep the cell phone at home and go. It's just not possible these days. Unfortunately, the phone is being tied more and more to your security features. For example, if you log into your bank account, then they would say, hey, we are sending you a code to your cell phone, and then you need that to log in, or maybe work related. I don't know if everybody has that two-factor authentication when you log into bank. It's increasingly difficult to stop the flow of technology, and also increasingly getting difficult to kind of reject this wholesale. I just don't want to do anything with that. I mean, right now, okay, we still are in an age where we might do something without the phone, but think about the next generation. They might not be able to do anything without a phone. I mean, they might not even know how to write a letter and put a stamp on it and take it to mailbox and post it, yes or yes. I mean, my child, she kind of, I had to tell her, maybe she was 7, 8 years old. One day she was asking me, what are you doing? Why are you writing this letter? And what is the stamp for? What is this whole thing? Because she never knew about this. And the idea is that the generations cannot be not adopting the technology also. So what would be a solution for this is to use everything in its right perspective, as the knife is being used for cooking vegetables and cutting vegetables and so on and so forth. So using that for the right purpose and using technology for the right purpose is what we advocate, rather than rejecting it wholeheartedly or just getting deep into the weeds of technology and forgetting the real goal of life, which is Krishna. Is that helpful, Vicky, to answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
And there is a valid reason behind it. For example, Bhagavad Gita, it's, if you see the copy of Gita or Bible for that matter, or Quran, you can see they're just a bunch of words on a piece of paper, and which are like glued together, correct? Essentially, that's what is a book, and that's what Gita is a book for. But when you see, because Lord Krishna's words are ingrained in that book, reading Gita, even though it's material, has a deep, profound spiritual effect. If you go to the temple, if you go to a church or a mosque, which is pure, then you can feel the purity. Ultimately, it's just bricks. It is just electricity. It is just carpet, flooring. It's the same thing. But even if you come to our temple at ISV, you can feel a divine presence there, because the spirit of the Lord can permeate through matter. And as long as you use matter in the spirit of service of God, then it actually doesn't bother you or disturb you. It will still touch your spiritual nature, not material nature. So that's a very important criteria. We don't change our jobs. We don't become off the grid, van lifers, just give up everything and run away into the forest, but use the tools we have at our disposal to achieve our goals by serving God through matter. Is that helpful?
Yes.
With that, Nina, Hayden, thank you so much for joining this evening.
We have Lisa, who just commented, understanding the rules, tricks, devices that social media uses. Somebody mentioned the dopamine, which is satisfaction reward. The options may be to have to bring us satisfaction reward, focusing on that goal of other things we do.
Okay, I'm just digesting. This is I'm digesting.
Elisa, go ahead. I think she just raised her hand.
Yes, please.
I did. So I'm having problems with migraines and memory. So sometimes I have to type it out. Otherwise, I'll forget. perhaps what I want to say. So I was after Vicky made her statement about how we like why do we continue to actually do those things? And somebody mentioned dopamine addiction, and so it's learning their tools is that 30-second your brain 30-second, that's where clips are and reels are 30-second, so 30-second you get that dopamine rush and then it flips over and then you want more and then you want more because if you find yourself reading something you're looking for something better, something's going to more exciting, that a reward continues to grow, and that's where you look up and it's an hour has passed and you looked up all these reels and gotten pretty much nothing done, or you surfing on the internet, you look at one thing and then you keep going because you're getting that satisfaction of, oh, I'm getting something, I'm getting something, I'm getting something. And so what I was saying, if we to use those type, because that's a device, a tool, and since that was something negative, just like you said, a knife, if it's used negatively, so we can use that positive. How do we use that positive in getting that dopamine rush into the positive things that's gonna to benefit us? So it's like understanding they use the positive rules to do the negative thing, but we have to learn how to use that rule for to continue to use it for the positive thing. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So mainly, if I understand you, Lisa, uh, how can we leverage these things to take us into a more positive direction instead of just getting bogged down in a very negative, endless cycle of dopamine hits?
Mhm. So, and when you are feeling that you need to actually laugh, like just put it on like a timer. So I might say, okay, 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to watch something funny. And then I tell myself, okay, now I have to get off of it. Now, what helps is if I have something planned the next 15 minutes after that, or I know it's time to go to bed, so you have to know the benefit of when you need to cut that 15 minutes off. Doing something else to actually distract that, those moments. You can get the dopamine rush by um, exercising, meditating, so it's just using something, other things. And other people may have some other ideas out there as well. And so,
Thanks, Lisa. They were very deeply insightful comments.
We have Denise, then Melissa.
Oh, so thank you for your comments. They're excellent. That really helped me. Lately, so I don't like to get on social media because it feels like work because I have to do a lot of emails at work and but when I get on Facebook a lot of times like I'll read about somebody dying or something happened and maybe I was in such a okay mood or it's in the first thing in the morning and then it's just like it just like pops my balloon and I get so sad when I read, something happened to somebody because I wasn't ready for it. So it's kind of like hearing about a tragedy so quickly. But what I did lately is on Facebook, some people connected with me and then they had health problems. And so I shared with them how, because I'm a doctor, some things that they could look up to help themselves get better. And so then I thought, well, maybe I could use Facebook like as a service when I see one of my friends is hurt or something to um, do something positive to help them. Yeah. So that was just my thought.
Nice. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Melissa. Melissa, go ahead.
All right, it's my turn. I think it's interesting how there are, some obvious drawbacks from a neurological perspective since social media is competing for our attention. But one of the philosophical questions I often ask myself is how different my life would be if I reached out to someone when I thought about them. Because I think as humans, we're driven by curiosity much of the time, but we don't let that curiosity about another person fully develop because we get a glimpse of what they're up to on our social media feeds. I think it would be much more personable to say maybe make a phone call or send a text message, but we sort of have that curiosity fulfilled through social media, which is rather superficial when you think about it. But yeah, I think it really takes away from genuine human connection most of the time. So just thought I'd share that.
Beautiful, Elisa. Thank you for sharing.
Gwen?
Hi. Like I think that like social media is designed to like that's how they decide to wrap your attention. That's how they decide to like increase your dopamine. That's how they decide to like because they want you they get the attention of you. So like I did like delete it before and I added back, delete and add it back. So I just feel so frustrated with this silence. Like I will indulge it, like just spend a lot of hours until like I have enough of it. I don't want to watch social media anymore. And another thing, this one is just the idea. I got it from everyone. Like the social media, they when you see something, they will promote something else. So basically, you just filter your social media to like what close to your value, what is you think that it can help you. Yeah. So and for me, like since doing that, I started like eventually like I stay away from social media because I mean like what doesn't serve me, what doesn't like align with my purpose and value has no longer like make me interest. And and sometimes I think like people go on social media it's just to distract oneself for the temper. Like if you like working and you feel stressful, you just want to distract yourself from that. So so the idea of like totally off social media is, I don't think it's possible. But instead, like we manually, like everyone said it, like we subscribe to the channel account that like doing service, like something that you think that this is the path that you want to roll on. So that's what I think.
Thank you. Thank you, Anfan. That was really nice. So one point I wanted to add was that all these points to a fact that social media or any sort of digital interaction, there is a caveat to that, because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, for a man or for a woman or a person who's controlled their mind, the mind becomes the best of the friends. But an uncontrolled mind is the worst of your enemies. Because oftentimes you feel like kicking yourself for kind of getting into the social media because your mind was absorbed in things and directions that you did not want it to go, and it dragged you, and it kind of hovered on that particular social media outlet for a long time. So when we read Gita, then we come to understand, because we are not this matter but spirit, having that discrimination is a key point on saving ourselves from the pitfalls of getting too much sucked into social media. Because through regular practice of yoga, especially bhakti yoga, our spiritual curiosity awakens, and we want to know more and more about that innate spiritual nature. And since we are drawn to that nature, even if you hover on the social media, you would like to hear about spiritual topics, or perhaps that initial training is what is needed before you go. Just like for example, I will pick on Lisa. Why not? So Lisa goes to a particular surgeon. Maybe she has an issue. God forbid, I pray for a long life and health. But just it's a hypothetical situation where she goes, to a surgeon who says, I will perform the surgery for you. Sure, no problems, Lisa. And then she'll ask, like, well, where did you kind of study, and what did you kind of do? What are your qualifications? He says, well, I went to the community college and I did my course in painting, but I saw a whole bunch of YouTube videos. I think I can operate on you, Lisa. And Lisa will be, well, don't worry about me, but you need a psychiatrist, because you won't let a person who is not trained as a doctor to perform surgeries. So we also train our mind before we allow it to kind of interact with the world by a healthy dose or a regular practice of yoga, especially the Bhakti yoga, where we take some time to read Bhagavad Gita and chant some names of God. So that way the mind is equipped to handle the vicissitudes of the life and the attractions of this life. And it's an easy process. It's a simple process that gets more and more awakened in a similar like-minded environment. Questions, comments?
There is one question from Yasmin. She thanked for the talk tonight, and she's asking, with the rise of AI, how do you see it benefiting our spiritual growth and connection with Krishna?
Thank you. Thank you for, I did mention that we will talk a little bit about it. My request to you is this: the Chat GPT or AI has had its fair share of controversies. The last one being that a high school boy committed suicide after extensively interacting with ChatGPT, because the ChatGPT was enabling the depression and the suicidal tendencies in the boy in ways that ChatGPT couldn't see it, couldn't understand it. And because it is matter, dull matter, when you interact with actual human, it can be a complete mismatch. And of course, later ChatGPT realized the dangers of this and they put some rail guards, but it's an evolving technology. So my request to you is you still find an actual person, a mentor. If you can't find anybody, pick anyone in this group. I would say why don't you pick Vicky or JM or Pavani or Sakala Subhag or Adinath. Just go talk to them, because the whole idea is that only a human with a spirit soul can understand the pains that others are undergoing. So AI can really help you with a lot of things. AI has become really advanced. There's no doubt about it. What takes days to develop on a software, AI is getting done in a couple of hours. And I've seen it personally at my work on how tremendously fast it is. But it's still not able to break into the emotions of human being, and it will never, in a truly holistic sense, being a well-wisher, being your friend, and just looking out for you. Artificially, it can never happen because you're naturally a spirit soul. So should you want to find out about Krishna, sure, AI can help. Should you want to get to know what is the gist of this and this, AI can help with a lot of things. But keep the connections real and keep the connections human, because AI is not going to help ever because of the inherent difference between me being a spiritual soul and AI. No matter how advanced it is, it still matter. So you can use AI, but it cannot replace a true friend or a well-wisher or a mentor. Because tomorrow questions will pop up, Jim. Can I take initiation from AI Guru? So, then AI will say, sure. How does it know anything better?
You can't hold hands with Chat GPT.
That's true. That's true. And I always remember, no matter how advanced it is, it's not going to send you a pizza. You still have to cook at home.
Class says, I like to see social media to the knife analogy. It can help or it can hurt.
Yeah. And pretty much that is true of most of the world. Nothing inherently is good or bad. It is just used for a higher or lower purpose. All right, more questions, more comments. Okay, so one last point I wanted to add, and Vicky is probably going to agree, or she is the witness. So during the COVID time, we had we conduct a course in the temple called Bhakti Shastri. It's like a high school diploma course, and we learn scriptures, we learn books, and Bhagavad Gita being one of the book that we learn as part of that semester or 2 semesters. And during the COVID time, I was teaching online because, as we know, we just couldn't go anywhere or do anything. And after teaching for 2 years or so online, when I first came into the temple and just was there with live audience and just being amongst 3D human beings rather than 2D on the screen, it felt a very different energy. It felt very rejuvenating and really exhilarating to kind of be. It was a nice feeling. It just showed me that no matter how much we advance in technology, technology will still remain a servant. I should be the master and not the other way around. It's a very good slave, but it's a terrible master. So we take solace as we advance spiritually. We take solace in the fact that Krishna will never stop sending good people in our lives as we kind of take to this path of spirituality. Never. So with that great hope, we'll just continue this journey and keep support for each other, look out for each other, be kind to each other, knowing that we are all friends that are together for a short while on this great journey as we make our effort to going back to Godhead through the process of Bhakti Yoga, where there is nothing artificial. There is no artificial intelligence. There is no artificial nothing. Everything is natural, spiritual, and eternal. So with that, now I offer the prayers that may all of you be happy, healthy, and wish you a very happy holidays and a happy new year if I don't see you again.
Thank you so much, Shivas. Any other last questions? Oh, Clara just posted. I like to see. No, I think there's just a comment which came about. But no, thank you so much, Shivas, for another engaging talk tonight, and helping us several of us who have been, somewhat at least to some extent struggling with this menace, and encouraging us to establish real connection. So thank you so much, and really eagerly looking forward to many more engaging session with you soon as well. So thank you so much, and if you allow, we can all sign off with a Haribol.
Yes, please unmute your speaker, raise your arms in the air, and then say Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribo!
Haribo.
Lisa, thank you. Likewise, I was so happy you made it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Shivas.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.